It is a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news broadcast. To present it, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. The headlines. DSTV and GoTV to remove Camnet TV from its platform on the 30th of June 2020. Bar owners upset with state. Monze residents turn graveyards into sex dens. In international news, China to cancel debt for African countries hit by coronavirus. And in sports news, registration window not yet open, FARS. Do join me shortly after this break for the details.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
The details. DSTV is this month expected to remove Zambia's community television channel Central African Media Network, Camnet, from its platform. The decision will be effected on the 30th of June 2020. This means that Camnet will be removed from both DSTV and GoTV platform. DSTV South Africa has informed Camnet TV that it reserves the right to add or remove any channel from its platform at any time. According to DSTV, one of its reasons of removing the channel from its platform is that Camnet TV has no viewers in Zambia. Camnet Television was added on the platform 4 years ago and is grateful for the opportunity to be on DSTV and GoTV. We would further want to thank our esteemed viewers on the two platforms for the time we have spent together in the last 4 years. Therefore, the countdown to our being removed from DSTV and GoTV has begun. Bar and Nightclub Owners Association Secretary General Edmond Lifwekelo has accused government of not valuing the financial contribution the sector plays to the nation. Mr. Lifwekelo explains that bars contributes heavily to any country's treasury, stating that closing them for this long is impacting negatively not only to bar owners but the state as a whole. He has since called on government to loosen restrictions on bars to allow them operate just like it has done in other sectors. President Edgar Lungu ordered the closure of bars and nightclubs since the coronavirus broke out in Zambia as a way to minimize the further spread of the disease. Meanwhile, Opposition People Alliance for Change President Andifo Dibanda says government should start strategizing on how best they can revamp sectors that can't withstand economic shocks which came as a result of the disease. We have more in this report.
Bars and nightclub owners in Lusaka have opened their businesses, disregarding government stance on the operations of such businesses. President Lungu has loosened restrictions by allowing restaurants, casinos, cinemas and gymnasium to operate normally, subject to them following the public health measures such as sanitizing, social distancing and washing of hands. However, bars and nightclubs owners feel this is unfair and have accused the government of favoring entities at the expense of of local businesses that provide employment to thousands of Zambians. Secretary General of the Bars and Nightclubs Association of Zambia, Edmond Lifuekelo, on the 12th of June 2019, urged his members to go ahead and reopen their businesses if authorities continue to silence on their plea. Earlier this week, President Lungu, through his special assistant, Isaac Chipampe, said that the bar owners should be patient as government is still consulting on opening.
As an association, we have directed our members, actually. We did direct our members last week that can you resume operations? Last Saturday, a number of bars opened because there's no way how we can restrain them. You know, people are hungry. A hungry person is an angry person. We are waiting for the president to address our nation. You know, we just hope that, you know, the special aid misquoted, that doesn't represent his position. But that if that's his position, then this next Saturday, we are instructing our leadership on the copper belt to resume, you know, within the new normal. That is from 12 hours to 18 hours, because this is what was agreed in the consultative meeting we had with government on the 27th May, which was chaired by the Ministry of Local Government. So as an association, we are not asking anything out of what was agreed in the meeting. We are asking of what was agreed. After 2 weeks, we are going to review. That's what we asked. That's what we agreed with government. After 2 weeks from now, if nothing has happened, then we instruct our members actually to resume now full time from 10 hours to 22 hours. It's not about defiance. It's not about being, we are revolting. I think this is about we're just fighting for what is truly ours.
And speaking in separate interviews, People's Alliance for Change President Antford Banda says the sectors such as tourism need to be strengthened to avoid people's lives being disrupted. He has called for more investment in the agriculture sector, tourism among others.
Coronavirus has brought in a lot of challenges in the business sector. Of course, one of the most hit sectors is the tourism sector. As you can see that people are not traveling, flights are grounded, hotels are closed, restaurants still operate on a restricted basis. So a lot of people actually have lost jobs, and if you look at it, this also creates a chain reaction and affecting other businesses who have been dependent on the sector, which also creates a problem with other businesses. So there will be a lot of job losses, and we have always been talking as PAC ever since the coming of the COVID that we don't have to wait for COVID to go for us to actually think about what we need to do, how we're going to ensure that the economy gets back to where it's supposed to be.
Bars have been closed since the first COVID-19 case was recorded in Zambia in March this year. Other measures were also put in place to fast-track the elimination of the disease. Lately, government has been easing the restrictions with much anticipation from bar operators that the sector will be opened, but to no avail. People remain expectant for the next presidential address with hope that the sector will be opened. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Police in Lusaka have arrested photographer Chela Tukuta for defamation and criminal libel. This is in connection with some derogatory remarks alleged to have been issued against Information and Broadcasting Services Minister Dora Silia, Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA Commissioner General Kingsley Chanda, and many others. We have more in this report.
Award-winning Zambian photographer Chela Tukuta has been arrested for criminal libel. According to the Zambia Police Public Relations Officer Esther Katongo, his arrest is in connection with some derogatory remarks alleged to have been produced and posted on social media by the accused person against Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services Honorable Dora Silia, Zambia Revenue Authority Commissioner General ZRA, Kingsley Chanda, Northern Province Permanent Secretary Charles Sipanje, and former Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations Amos Chanda.
We wish to confirm that Chela Tukuta has been arrested by police for criminal libel. He is alleged to have produced and published derogatory remarks against the Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services, Honorable Dora Silia, the Permanent Secretary for Northern Province, the Commissioner General for Zambia Revenue Authority, and Mr. Amos Chanda. He is facing 4 counts of criminal libel, and furthermore, he is expected to face more charges on the Copper Belt.
Chela Tukuta was also seen on social media actively advocating for a corruption-free Zambia and the freedom of expression. The accused person is in police custody, yet to be charged with 4 counts of criminal libel. According to the police, he is also expected to face more charges on the Copper Belt. Constance Mwemba, reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The opposition alliance has imagined what Zambia may turn into if the ruling Patriotic Front PF is given another 5 years. Speaking at a media briefing, United Party for National Development UPND President Hakainde Hichilema says in a country where jobs, money and positive opportunities are hard to come by, the only way is for outright change of government in 2021. And speaking at the same briefing, National Democratic Congress NDC President Chishimba Kambwili urged Zambians not to entertain Bill 10. Mr. Kambwili says if the bill is allowed to go through, it will be like sending Zambians to the cross of poverty. We have more in this report.
As any country heads towards the general elections, debates on various national matters tend to arise from different parties, including the citizens themselves, and Zambia has begun its stage. Today at the Opposition Alliance briefing, where various opposition political parties were present, Dr. Chishimba Kambwili of the National Democratic Congress Party had this to say.
I want to specifically address the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Colleagues in the Electoral Commission of Zambia, you are supposed to protect the electoral process of this country for and on behalf of the people of Zambia. But what we are seeing now is that it appears the Electoral Commission of Zambia has only an interest to protect those who are in government, particularly the Patriotic Front and its president, President Edgar Lungu. I want to challenge any Zambian, any reasonable Zambian, to tell me from independence in 1964, where the registration of voters has been given a period of 1 month. Look, we are talking of capturing about 9 million voters. Now tell me, what system are you going to use that is going to enable you capture all the voters within a period of 30 days? As Opposition Alliance, as NDC, as UPND, and our other partners, is that the registration of voters must be done within a period of 90 days so that we give each and every Zambian an opportunity to register and be part of the 2021 election. Section 12 of Bill 10 is saying repeal Article 60 by removing Clause 4.
Meanwhile, UPND Party President Mr. Hichilema said that the Bill 10 cannot be supported as it is not meant to upgrade the lives of the Zambian people.
Because of Bill 10, the draconian Bill 10, it seeks to keep PF in office forever. Can you survive another 5 years or 10 years of PF in office? Can you survive? Who will survive on a small corrupt number of people? Is that what you want? By allowing Bill 10 to go through so that PF stays in office forever and kills our youth. Article 52 in Bill 10, as my colleague says, seeks to allow Lungu to go for a 3rd term. That's the intention of Article 52. Isn't that an attempt to keep PF in office forever? It is. Are you going to allow it as citizens? No. Dangerous business. We shouldn't do that. PF are seeking to return Zambia to a one-party state, which my colleague talked about, which we walked away from, which we worked hard together as a team across regions, across ethnicity, to reject the one-party state in 1991, starting in 1989, those of you who are young. We all worked together. And that's why we need to work together again to reject the attempt to return us to a one-party state.
Reporting for Camnet TV News, Tenson Kaunda II in Lusaka.
And the Civil Society Constitution Agenda, CISCA, says enacting any law requires consensus among the citizenry. Speaking at a media briefing Thursday, CISCA Vice Chairperson Judith Mulenga states that the current constitution amendment process lacks consensus, hence resistance from the general public. Ms. Mulenga says with regard to Bill 10, it is clear that the majority Zambians have rejected the proposed bill and called for its immediate withdrawal from Parliament.
The proposed amendment bill number 10 of 2019 has continued to raise debate among members of society, civil society organizations and the clergy. One such organization is CISCA, which has made it clear from inception that the bill is a betrayal to the Zambian people. The organization says the bill has been manipulated to suit the wants of government at the expense of people. CISCA Deputy Chairperson Judith Mulenga said this in a statement read on her organization's behalf. She says the bill that was presented during the initial stages under Mr. Jerry has been changed, thereby calling on the minister responsible for justice to come clean on the matter. Among the contentious issues contained in the bill include 14 days of hearing, a presidential election petition, representation of youths, women and physically challenged persons. CISCA has therefore insisted that the bill be withdrawn until a consensus is reached.
Withdraw Bill 10 completely from the House and do the right thing. However, if Justice Minister and President Lungu, using the arrogance of numbers, proceed with Bill 10, we have this to say to all the members of Parliament. As you go to vote on Bill 10 on Friday or any other day, think of your children, think of your legacy after political life is over, and think of the millions of citizens whose present and future well-being depends on your vote to allow or stop Bill 10 from becoming law. A vote for Bill 10 is a betrayal to your children, legacy and country. Would you rather betray your children, country and citizens for immediate political expedience and maybe few pieces of silver? We don't think so. The nation is watching. Posterity will judge you accordingly.
Meanwhile, CISCA Board Chairperson Bishop John Mambo says CISCA stands with the Catholic bishops who have rejected the bill in totality. Bishop Mambo says the organization calling itself Catholic Parliamentarians has lost its way by questioning its leadership, a matter he says is unfortunate. He says the Catholic Church has been a mouthpiece for the nation on many occasions and should be respected as such.
Member of the Patriotic Fund, who is late Michael Sata, he did not regard others as bishops, and we agreed, because we all know that with evangelicals, we are up and down. For example, my vice president calls me an ordained bishop. Why should that worry me? But if a statement came from the body, that helps in terms of rural health service delivery, education, and all that. Maybe I would say that I'm here today talking to you because I survived malaria, because my mother, when I was almost dying, took me to a Catholic hospital. So I feel, personally, I'm disheartened here that the Lubindas, the mentioned names, the Professor Kandoluos, they would come out and say, we do not agree, where did they get the authority? And for the Catholics, they will not come out and speak for themselves. So as CISCA, we simply say, we stand and we endorse the position of the Catholic Church. They have been there for us. Without them, this country would have been in trouble many years ago.
The Constitution Amendment Bill number 10 was brought about during the National Democratic Forum last year in April. The process of refining the supreme law of the land has been a thorny issue, especially with the Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019. They say a good constitution is that which is built on a consensus, but one wonders whether Bill 10 will reach a consensus. For now, the debate continues. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Chamber of Mines says Zambian mining companies have suffered an alarming 30% drop in revenue over a 3-month period due to the deep impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on mining finances. The Chamber of Mines has attributed the drop in revenue from February to April 2020 to two main factors that includes severe global restrictions on movement and the collapse in the copper prices early in the crisis. Meanwhile, royalty payments are estimated to have come in at approximately 60 to 65 million United States dollars over the 3-month period rather than the 90 United States dollars that could have been expected. Although copper prices have since strengthened, the metal is still down on average by 12% over the period compared to the previous year. Chamber of Mines Chief Executive Officer Sokwani Chilembo has said. Further, Mr. Chilembo says despite maintaining production, Zambian mining companies have struggled to export and sell their copper as they have received a considerably lower price for the sales made during the 3-month period. Additionally, companies have also seen an appreciable rise in costs through implementing COVID-19 prevention and mitigation measures necessary to ensure the safety of workers and surrounding communities. This is according to a statement made available to Camnet TV News by Zambia Chamber of Mines Deputy Chief Executive Officer Talent Ngandwe. And moving on in other news, Monze residents have, with beloved ones buried Monze residents with beloved ones buried at various burial sites have asked the local authority in the district to stop a growing trend of people using the graveyard as sextons. The residents are also concerned that people have turned grave sites as dumping sites. We have more in this report.
Graveyards are among the most valuable historical resources as they can reveal information about historic events, religions, lifestyles, and genealogy. Cemeteries are also by and large a place to bury the loved ones at the end of their lives, which aids in the grieving process. As an important record of the social history in the area, it is paramount that they are maintained, which is not the case in one of the townships in Monze's southern province. Residents in Monze district are complaining about the bad behavior by some residents of Manungu Township. The Manungu Cemetery has been used as a brothel, dumping site, as well as a place used for answering the call of nature, which others may term as disrespecting the resting place of their loved ones.
I think the gravesite didn't need to be respected because it is where we bury our loved ones. And with these people who are throwing bins here, I think it's not good. They have to give respect because they should mind if it was their relatives. Their graves are buried with the bins which they are throwing. Then how are they going to recognize their relatives' burial site? I think they should be talked to so that they should stop. They should be making bins in their yards.
The residents have since called on the area councillor to quickly come up with a solution as it is getting out of hand.
Appealing to the council to say that this place has to be cleaned and we should make sure to say that this place is well maintained.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga.
We take our first set of commercials, but do stay tuned as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly and see your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
The Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, has called for the immediate withdrawal of Bill 10 from Parliament to allow for consensus building, considering that a number of concerns have been raised on certain articles in the bill. NGOCC chairperson Mary Mulenga says her institution has taken time to analyze the gazetted Bill 10 and is of the view that the Bill 10 does not address the many concerns raised by stakeholders about the bill and the whole constitution reform process. Speaking at a media briefing Thursday afternoon, Ms. Mulenga says while NGOCC agrees with the general principle that the mixed member electoral system should ideally improve the representation of women, youths, and the marginalized groups, there is no indication of how this electoral system will work. Ms. Mulenga further says some new clauses have been introduced in the gazetted bill, while some proposed amendments by the Select Committee have not been included in the bill.
We all know that the Bill 10 came, and as we are all aware, many stakeholders, including NGOCC, had raised concerns on a number of articles in the bill, and our conclusion was that the said bill be withdrawn to allow for consensus building. Having therefore reviewed the regazetted Constitution Amendment Bill with NGOCC's submission to Parliament and the recommendations of the Parliamentary Select Committee report, in line with the current developments in the country, NGOCC concludes as follows. The first one, the regazetted bill does not address the many concerns by stakeholders and also does not necessarily reflect all the recommendations of the Parliamentary Select Committee report. There is a contradiction in some instances between what is proposed and what the Select Committee recommended. B, the constitution reform process continues to be a source of discontent in the country. And it is important that this process is focused on building a strong foundation for national development. The women's movement has been advocating for a people-driven constitution for a very long time, and one that will address the many shortcomings in the country's constitutional order. Our analysis of Bill 10 in its original form, and now the regazetted bill with proposed parliamentary amendments, highlights the many shortcomings with the whole constitution-making process, and it is important that there is still need for broad-based consensus on the way forward. Finally, as NGOCC, we reiterate our position that Bill 10 should be withdrawn in its entirety together with the regazetted bill. The Constitution should not be a product of coercion and manipulation. It should be a product of consensus and nation building.
Nominated Member of Parliament Raphael Nakachinda says late Zambian President Frederick Chiluba must have died a sad man following a tag of corruption lumped on him after his exit from government. Mr. Nakachinda says Dr. Chiluba played a key role in the country's economic liberation, stating that his legacy must be respected. Speaking during a memorial service to mark 9 years since his death, Mr. Nakachinda notes with regret that Dr. Chiluba's legacy has continued to be soiled in the mud, forgetting all the good things he did for the nation. Speaking at the same occasion, former Vice President Enoch Kavindele called for the restoration of Dr. Chiluba's name. He wonders why the late president is not respected as natural justice demands following his acquittal by the courts of law on charges leveled against him. Among those that attended the late Dr. Chiluba's memorial were former ministers Lamek Mangani, Dr. Peter Muchingwa, Felix Mutati, and Dr. Chiluba's press aide Richard Sakala. The second Republican president died on 18th June 2011.
So we believed that the man who came and made those allegations had his facts. But later on, when proper investigations were made, we discovered that the allegations were not correct at all. But he had suffered as a result of those allegations that were made. And because they were so serious, the allegations, that even his health started deteriorating. Members of the family, I see a lot of them most of the time, led by Darlington, still suffer. Nothing has happened, and we are very surprised. Why is it that this judgment by the courts is being ignored? Why has the judgment been ignored? Other judgments have been the basis of justice. But this particular one, we do not know. And for you, the committee, and myself, and all of Dr. Chiluba's friends, I think we should continue. We should continue pursuing justice, trying to find out why.
Because of what Dr. Chiluba went through, unfortunately, the country has not been able to progress and grow our democracy. We have now degenerated to levels where we never celebrate each other's success. We actually look forward to destroying each other than we desire to celebrate each other's success. So you look at our political cycle, is that regardless of the effort somebody makes to contribute to the well-being of either their community, themselves, or their family, if there is any success that is witnessed, everybody will gang up to kill them, will gang up to destroy that legacy. So we don't celebrate people who are making money in this country. We don't celebrate people who are legitimately doing business and succeeding. We don't celebrate political success of individuals. All that is fought because we have had a precedent set in the second Republican president that with all that he achieved, the legacy has been dragged into the mud. And I think that must be corrected for the purposes of curing posterity. If it is not corrected, this country will continue going around the same hue of vengeance, retribution, and all that, and I think that will be very sad.
The Lusaka City Council, LCC, has warned the business community in the city of Lusaka to be wary of unscrupulous people impersonating council public health inspectors. The council says unscrupulous people are going round business premises, conducting fake inspections and coming up with trumped-up charges on flimsy grounds so as to extort money from business owners. We have more in this report.
Lusaka City Council wishes to warn the business community
Lusaka to be wary of people that are impersonating public health inspectors. We have been receiving reports from the business community that they are being harassed by people that are purporting to have come from Lusaka City Council, conducting illegal inspections in their premises, and during the process they are coming up with trumped up charges based on flimsy grounds, and so people are asking for money to be paid on the spot. Some people are asking as high as 35,000 to be paid on the spot or deposit in their mobile money accounts, and so these people are not coming from Lusaka City Council. Our public health inspectors and or indeed any other officer from Lusaka City Council can easily be identified using identity cards, because they move with identity cards, and also they wear branded materials for LCC, and they move in groups and or pairs using council vehicles. But what we have been told is that the other group, unscrupulous people that are going around, are using private vehicles, and so we want to take this opportunity to warn the public that please don't pay, especially for people that are asking for cash payments on the spot. What our people do is that if you are found wanting, they advise you to go and pay from the designated pay point or Lusaka City Council Civic Center, so that we can obtain official receipts from the council. So those that are going around, please, before you make any transactions, make sure that you call Lusaka City Council to verify.
The Transparency International Zambia has advised law enforcement agencies in Zambia to apply the law fairly on all erring citizens. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe has noted with concern that law enforcers have created two categories of citizens, being that in the opposition and those in the ruling party. According to him, those in the ruling party are allowed to freely express themselves, while those in the opposition and those with vigilant views are punished for any slight offense. Mr. Nyambe said this in an interview with Camnet News.
We have seen cases, even just beyond what you've said, we have seen cases in the past where cadres from a particular political party, maybe from the ruling party, have actually mobilized themselves to be able to demonstrate on a day's notice sometimes. So then you start to wonder and say, okay, when did they do the 7-day notification according to the provisions of the Public Order Act? But then when it comes to other stakeholders, they have a harder time getting that witness from the police. So I think the selective application of justice, if I may call it that, is something that is really worrying. The example that you give is a classic one. The fact that we have seen derogatory remarks being made by other people. Sadly enough, we have seen some derogatory remarks, even from some senior government officials, where words have been used that really should not be used within that space. As much as it is important for them to express themselves, I think that they should be careful not to give the authorities the rope with which they can hang them. And so I think they should employ a more measured approach, so that they do not give the authorities any excuse for taking them in. And so a measured approach, I think, would be very useful for them to adopt. But it's a worrying trend where people that are expressing themselves are actually slapped with punitive measures, and I think it's something that really, really worries us.
The Lwindi Gonde traditional ceremony of the Tonga-speaking people of Monze district in Southern Province has been postponed to a date to be communicated. Organizing Committee Chairperson Patrick Chizayala has told Camnet TV News that the postponement is due to the coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Chizayala explains that the decision has been made in the best interest of the people who attend the ceremony. The traditional ceremony was due to take place between June and July.
We have really postponed the Lwindi Gonde traditional ceremony. You see, the traditional ceremony occurs usually every July 4 days holiday. And we cannot have one because of this pandemic that is all over the globe. Yes, it will just be there when situations cool down. Set the date until the situations are normal.
We take our second set of commercials, but do stay tuned as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
You know I can take her a bake.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly and see your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, Chinese President Xi Jinping has said that China will cancel debts for African states worst hit by the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking at the extraordinary China-Africa Summit on solidarity against coronavirus in Beijing on Wednesday this week, the Chinese president said that the sudden onslaught of coronavirus had taken a heavy toll on countries around the world and has pledged his country's total commitment to ending the pandemic. Xi Jinping said the Chinese people had put up a fierce fight and made enormous sacrifice to bring the situation in China and Africa under control. Xi Jinping also said China shall always remember the invaluable support Africa gave the Chinese at the height of the battle with the coronavirus. The summit was attended by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, Macky Sall, the President of Senegal, Moussa Mohamed, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, and Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations. Others were Tedros Ghebreyesus, Director General of the World Health Organization, heads of states, while other worldwide leaders followed the proceedings via a video link. The story is courtesy of NewsAge News. And moving on in sports news, the Office of the Registrar of the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, has informed all clubs affiliated to the Football Association of Zambia that the registration window for the 2020-2021 that was scheduled to open on 1st June 2020 has not opened. FAZ says this is because the 2019-2020 season is not over. According to a statement on the FAZ official Facebook page, the FIFA regulations on the status and transfer of players in Article 6 states that the first registration period shall begin after the completion of the season and shall normally end before the new season. The statement further says while a FIFA circular has allowed the registration window, they have been allowed to open before the season ends. Clubs will not be allowed to field the newly registered players until the 2021 season begins. That story brings us to the end of the main news broadcast, but before we go, a look at the headlines once again. DSTV and GoTV to remove Camnet TV from its platform on 30th June 2020. Bar owners upset with state. Monze residents turned graveyards into sextons. And in international news, China to cancel debt for African countries hit by coronavirus. And in sports news, registration window not yet open. Fast. But before we go, we look at the verse of the day, which is coming from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 4, which says, "Be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love." As we go through this pandemic, always remember to mask up, stay home, maintain social distance in the fight against COVID-19. I have been your anchor, Liseli Kanyanga Mwanga. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.